Live from Thornbury Creek at Oneida, this is Locker Room with Local 5 Sports Director Bert Griffin. Now your host, Bert Griffin.
It was a tale of two halves at Lambeau Field on Sunday. The Vikings came to Titletown on a mission, while the Packers' slow start was too much to overcome. And now Green Bay will head to L.A., where they will try to get back over 500 just 5 games into the season. Get ready for another edition of Locker Room. Good evening and welcome to another edition of Locker Room at our new home this year, Thornbury Creek Golf Course at Oneida. Good crowd as always. Of course, the official golf of the Packers. Yes, their crowd pumped up. Even though it was a loss to the Vikings in the division, the Packers are now 2-2 as they head to Los Angeles, where they will take on the Rams come Sunday. As far as that game at Lambeau Field against Minnesota, the Vikings jumped out in that first half to a 21-0 lead, scoring on all 3 of their first drives, ultimately going up 28-0 before Green Bay finally got on the board with a Jaden Reed touchdown at the end of the first half. The second half, quite a bit different. A scoreless third quarter between Green Bay and Minnesota, but over a span of 11 minutes, the Packers put up 22 points and eventually had a chance in the final minutes of the game as they scored, made it 31-29, but could not recover the onside kick. We'll talk about that with Packers safety Xavier McKinney in just a moment, but first, it is time for our pivotal performance powered by local IBEW 158. For the second time this season, Jaden Reed had over 130 yards receiving and a touchdown, including that TD late in the second quarter that not only got the crowd involved, it kind of woke up the entire team heading into the break at halftime. Jaden Reed with our pivotal performance powered by IBEW Local 158. When we come back, it is time to meet our special player guest of the night. Packers safety Xavier McKinney is in the house right here at Thornbury Creek at Oneida. Don't go anywhere. Hey, welcome back to Locker Room right here at Thornbury Creek at Oneida Golf Course. Please welcome Packers safety Xavier McKinney, everybody. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good to see you.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here.
Hey, you're so cool. We got to have the shades on, right?
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Tuesdays are an off day for the most part for you guys, but you've been all over the state already, doing some stuff down in Milwaukee on your way back. I mean, it's really the one day of the year once football starts that you guys can enjoy yourselves, right?
Exactly. Tuesdays are pretty much our only off days, so try to kind of get my mind, back right and ready for the next week. But it's good to be here. I'm happy to be here, happy to see the fans, and excited about what we got going on today.
All right, I'll get this out of the way. I know it's a statistic everybody's been talking about, but this guy, folks, 4 interceptions in 4 games. First player in Packers history to accomplish that.
Yes,
I mean, you've only been here not even half a year, and you're already in the record book. So what has been the key? Is it just right place, right time? I know you cover a lot of ground, and that's why they brought you here. Mm-hmm. But 4 in a row, that's unheard of.
Just my preparation. I just try to make sure that I'm always prepared. I try to make sure that I'm always training hard and ready to go. So, when those opportunities do present themselves, I'm able to seize those opportunities. And thankfully, I've had great coaches and great teammates surrounding me that have been able to help me get thus far. And I just plan on taking it even further. So. I'm very excited for how this start has been for me and my journey here with the Packers, and I plan to keep it going.
Some folks might think that all the parts are just interchangeable in a 4-3 defense, 3-4. That isn't the case, is it? What do you like about Jeff Hafley's system? Because people in Green Bay have seen kind of a 3-4 for a very long time, all the way back to even Dom Capers' days. There's only been a couple 4-3 guys over the years.
For sure. Being in Hafley's defense, man, it's special. It gives us opportunities to go out there and to be the playmakers that we are. And I think we have a very great group. I think we got a lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball and a lot of guys that are very instinctual. And it just gives us the opportunity to go out there and play freely. And that's, what we've loved about it the most. And we've been able to make a lot of plays already so far, and it's going to continue to keep getting better.
Well, last week, Packer fans remember this guy, and so does everyone else around the NFL. Hall of Famer Charles Woodson posted on Twitter, "Man, I knew McKinney was going to be special for this Packers team." Dude, that's coming from a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
It made me feel great. Obviously, it's an honor anytime you get a mention from an all-time great, a Hall of Famer, a guy that I've watched growing up, a guy that my family has watched growing up. And it's just great, man. It gives me a lot of confidence and makes me really happy to see him say something about me that's super positive. So it's been really good. I actually haven't gotten a chance to talk to him face to face or even meet him, and I really want to, and I hopefully I can do that sometime in the future. But I'm gonna keep continuing to try to build upon what I've already started.
Well, I can tell you this, if you come out here to Thornberry Creek next July, or he's got a golf outing with his Woodson wine, his Woodson whiskey.
I'm definitely going to have to come up then. I definitely want to be able to kind of sit down with him and talk to him and get to know him.
He's selective when he comes back to Green Bay.
Yeah.
Look, he's busy. He's a football analyst now, and he's when you have a Hall of Fame jacket, you can pick and choose what you're going to do the rest of your career.
For sure. So, definitely got to pick his brain on that.
All right, look, you won a national championship at Alabama back in the day. What prepared you the most? Look, Nick Saban, SEC in general has been the dominant conference. 13 national championships in the past 2 decades. I think Alabama's got 7 of them.
Yeah.
That environment, it prepares you for life in the NFL, doesn't it?
Most definitely. Not just the NFL, it prepares just in life in general. The way, he, taught us in, the discipline, how disciplined that we were, and just focusing on the small little details. Mm-hmm. I think that was the biggest thing that, while I was there, that I learned. So always chasing that, perfection. Knowing that you might not ever touch it, but being able to chase that and trying to be as perfect as you possibly can is something that's been instilled in me, and it's helped me along my journey since I've left.
When you look up and down this roster, whether it's Alabama, Georgia, you guys were hated rivals for a long time. Now are you guys buddies? Or
no, we're not. We're not buddies no more. When we play each other, it's still a rivalry. But now when we out there on the field, man, we connect really well. We're really close because we understand, we came underneath the same tree. Mm-hmm. So we understand how, we work. We've both been kind of in the same, the trenches so-called. And it's fun to be back with guys that are cut from the same cloth as you, and they work the same way you work, and we get along well. We have great connection.
Brian Gutekunst, as the Packers general manager, has been very particular about which free agents he brings in. Mm-hmm. This year, you and Josh Jacobs together were the marquee guys. Have you guys bonded in a certain way just because of the fact that you're proven veterans, you got that big contract, mm-hmm. and now you may not be a leader from the start, but people are going to expect you both to be leaders in the locker room and on the field?
Yeah, we had a great connection when we were in school, so that never really faded. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we've been playing on different teams for some years now, up until now, but our relationship never faded. So when we got back together, we were both happy about it. Mm-hmm. We were happy to be back in the same room because, I know what he's made of and he knows what I'm made of. Yeah. So it was just great to see him again, and being on his team is better than playing against him because I played against him a couple times and it's not fun. So just being back on the same team with him and going out there and going to work with him and competing with him it's been funny. What
did you know about Green Bay before you got here, and was Jordan Love a factor in coming here and getting the chance to play with a young quarterback who clearly has the promise, got a big contract because of what he did? Because you don't win in this league without a quality QB.
For sure. Definitely was a big, time decision for me. Just knowing and seeing the type of talent that was already here, and knowing, the potential of, where, this thing could go. I wanted to be a part of something, that I believe was special. And so having a quarterback, that has the caliber of Jordan Love is amazing. You know, obviously in this league, in order to win, you have to have a really good quarterback, and you know we have a really good quarterback, and it's just gonna be fun, man, to be out here with all this talent and put this thing all together.
Final thing, real quick, as a guy who patrols the secondary, how impressed were you with what Malik Willis did during that 2-week stretch? And he came in just a month ago.
Yeah, I was impressed, but I wasn't surprised.
Okay.
You know, obviously, me and him were teammates in high school, so it was another one of those things where it's like I know exactly what he's made of, and I know exactly how he competes, and he's a winner. He's been a winner for a very long time since I've known him, and you know, when we were in high school, we got to the big game. Yep. So I know what he's made of, and he's a special talent, and so just being back even with him was a great feeling, and you know, we talked about it, and we were super happy about it, obviously our family and everything like that. So it's been good just being back with all these guys, man. I feel at home, and it's been great. All
right, when we come back on Locker Room, plenty more with Packers safety Xavier McKinney. But before we go, time for our Easy Tab Fan Cam. Yes, the Green Bay Grinch is in the house, apparently. We'll have more coming up after the break. Welcome back to Locker Room. Plenty of kids in the house here at Thornberry Creek at Oneida. Our special guest tonight, Packers safety Xavier McKinney. I know you don't really get into a lot of film study and break things down and game plan, and you guys never tell us anything anyway, and neither does Matt LaFleur. However, outside looking in, the Rams are 1-3. It's a long road trip. Weird things can happen when you go to the West Coast. However, this is a team you guys should probably beat right now, especially from your defensive perspective, looking at their offense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, you know, in this league, you know, there's always going to be a challenge every week. No game is going to come easy, and I think we understand that as a team, and we're going to prepare, you know, for this game just how we would any other, you know, opponent or any other game. And we know we can't let our guard down just because, you know, people might think, you know, it's a lesser team or whatever the case may be. They're going to come in there and play their best game. We know that. So we're going to have to be on our P's and Q's and be ready to go.
And L.A. is not a place you want to get distracted, as they say.
Not at all. Not at all.
Make it a business trip, right?
Exactly.
All right, every week we go in the locker room. Time for In the Zone with Cameron Ezair, presented by Thornberry Creek at Oneida.
Here with Packers cornerback Eric Stokes. Eric, every time you take the field and get out there and play, do you have a different sense of appreciation for the game, knowing what your past has been with all the injuries?
Oh, for sure. Every time I touch the field now, it's more like, man, this could be my last time because, I mean, you never know. Like beforehand, you take a lot of little stuff for granted, take a lot of little practices for granted, but every time that you touch that field, man, it's a blessing.
I want to take it back to your childhood. I feel like you've always said that football is a blessing. When did that start? When did you realize the game would be a blessing for you?
Especially when I got to college. It really hit me when I got to college, and I started pretty much traveling the world. So I started going to different cities, started going to different states and stuff. And then especially when I got here, I just realized, man, football brings me to a lot of different cities that I know for a fact I've never been in. A lot of countries now that I ain't never been in, London, Brazil. So, man, every day it's a blessing.
Favorite spot you've ever played in that you've been to?
Favorite spot? Ooh,
outside of Green Bay, of course.
You know what I'm saying? Outside of Green Bay, ooh. Yeah, I will always say Atlanta because that was my first time going back home and being on the away side. So it was kind of a different feel, and especially I wish I would have played that game, but especially just being at a Falcons game. That was my first time ever being at a Falcons game. So it was a lot. Like that game was, yeah, I'd say that one was special.
Being a Georgia kid, going to Georgia, did you always think that most of your football career would be in Georgia?
Make it crazy, I didn't want to play for neither. Ooh, that could be bad for my UGA fans. But yeah, growing up, I didn't want to go to UGA and all that stuff. But once I got a UGA offer, it was kind of hard to say no. But outside of that, nah, I really didn't think I was going to be in Georgia. I thought I was going to be somewhere else. But Georgia is just Georgia. It's always different.
How cool is it to gel with all these guys and create relationships, knowing that you're a couple seasons in, you've kind of gotten acclimated in the NFL?
Oh, yeah, it's good. Like, man, these some of the people that you can talk to for the rest of your life. You always gotta have some type of connection with them. Like I still talk to people that's in my draft class that's not here now and all that stuff. So it's just a special moment. It's just special people that you always be around.
All right, thanks, fellas. You and Stokes have a special relationship as well.
Yeah.
College and pro.
Yep. I pretty much got a relationship with all the SEC guys.
Right.
And obviously, we're both from Georgia, so we know we have a lot of mutuals.
Yep.
So we always kind of get connected when we're back home.
All right, time for our 1-minute drill, quick Q&A. Best thing you bought with your money so far?
Best thing I bought with my money so far has to be a Tesla truck.
All right, well, that answers car you drive. What's your go-to jam?
Go-to jam. I don't really have a go-to.
No?
I kind of just however I'm feeling that day.
Depends on the moment. All right, biggest influence in your life?
Biggest influence in my life. I go with my mom.
Favorite NFL player growing up?
Favorite NFL player growing up was Troy Polamalu.
If you could be a pro athlete in a different sport, what would it be?
Baseball.
Baseball? All right, pitcher, catcher, shortstop, outfielder?
Shortstop.
All right. Las Vegas or the beach?
The beach.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Golf or fishing?
Fishing.
Steak, fish, or chicken then?
Steak.
All right, and finally, for Xavier McKinney, it's been the question everyone has asked me 10,000 times. What do you do with that hair to get it in the helmet?
Man, I take it out. I got a rubber band in there now. Take it out, flip it back, and we just rock out like that.
All right, when we come back, it is time to wrap up Locker Room. We'll hear from Jared Bush coming up after the break. Welcome to Locker Room here at Thornberry Creek at Oneida. He's Jared Bush. Xavier McKinney's our special guest. Time now for our keys to the game, brought to you by the Dispensary. Xavier and I talked about it a little bit. Right now, Matthew Stafford and the Rams offense a little bit banged up. Get pressure on him because they have trouble running the football and they are down at wide receiver. Run the rock, establish the clock. Time of possession, that will be huge. And finally, start limiting some of these penalties and mistakes, which, look, it's going to happen. Jared Bush joining us, everyone, right now.
For sure.
Apparently,
co-host.
apparently he needed to get his suit cleaned, and it looks really nice.
You know, Linderman's, deliver service, check them out.
Free plug, apparently. Take it away. You've got 3 minutes with Xavier. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I imagine, based on what I've seen on film, I'm a big film guy, and I've been around a ton of safeties. Troy Polamalu, one that you mentioned, Nick Collins as well, and Leroy Butler. And I see some similarities. What's something that you take pride in being back there as a center fielder, reading the quarterback and wanting to make plays as a ball hawk that as we take pride in?
Yeah, it's a couple things. One thing I take pride in hugely is just making sure everybody's lined up and in the right place. That's something that, being a safety, I think is a big key to being a great safety, is making sure that not only knowing your job, but knowing, everybody else's job around you. So, if something does break down, you kind of know, beforehand, before even watching the film.
Yep.
And then obviously, being rangy, being able to cover, sideline to sideline, hash to hash. That's something I pride myself big on. And I try to make sure that, I'm able to do that. So, when I'm able to do that, it also helps out, my corners, my nickels, and a lot of times we talk to each other, and I try to just make sure that they're on the same page with me so they're able to make plays as well.
For sure. And then what's that relationship or that communication with Hafley as well? Because knowing that you're one of the premier safeties in the NFL, and I think that's one of the reasons why the Packers went after you as an acquisition. What's that rapport like, and what's that relationship like, being that he's just coming in, whether he had some influence in coming after you? How has that been, and how is that relationship within the locker room as well?
Man, we communicate all the time. We talk on the off days. We talk, before the games, after the games. We meet before meetings, just so I can get a better understanding of, why he wants to call certain things and when he's going to call certain things. So that way in the game, when they come through, I'm able to already know kind of beforehand of, what he wants to do. So, and then just with the whole defense, obviously he has great communication with everybody. And, it's everybody's transparent with each other.
Xavier McKinney, everybody. Thanks for watching Locker Room. We'll see you next week. So long.